came in barrels that could cook enough meth to poison a continent. And for months, those barrels slipped through customs like whispers in a crowded room. No alarms, no red flags, just paperwork, signatures, and silence. But silence has a shelf life. It started with a routine inspection, one of those random checks that agents joke about over coffee. A barrel was opened. A test kit turned red. Not pink, not purple. Red. The kind of red that makes a DEA agent stop breathing for a second. The kind of red that means someone messed up, or someone got cocky. That barrel didn't just contain chemicals, it contained a trail, a breadcrumb, a thread that, if pulled hard enough, could unravel something massive, something buried deep in the underbelly of Texas, something that had been growing, feeding, metastasizing, right under federal noses. The shipment was frozen, the paperwork traced, and suddenly the map lit up like a Christmas tree. Houston, Laredo, McAllen, dots blinking red. Each one a warehouse, a stash house, a ghost kitchen for meth and fentanyl. Each one operated by a different cell, but all of them connected. The FBI called it Operation Iron Vortex. ICE called it a logistical nightmare. The cartel? They didn't call it anything, because they didn't know it was coming. Inside a nondescript field office in Pasadena, Texas, agents gathered around a digital map. Red dots pulsed like heartbeats. A woman in a blazer, U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, stepped forward. Her voice was clipped, cold, surgical. "We're not just seizing chemicals," she said. "We're cutting off the head of the snake." But this wasn't a snake. It was a hydra, and every head had a name. One cell was run by a former oil rig supervisor, another by a Honduran gang with the ties to MS-13. One was a Venezuelan crew linked to Tren de Aragua, a group so brutal even other cartels kept their distance. They operated out of a suburban home in Hays County, a quiet cul-de-sac, kids' bikes on lawns, a porch light flickering. Inside, 40 people, some asleep, some armed, all unaware, until 3:17 a.m. doors splintered. Flashbangs detonated, screams, chaos, then silence. 42 arrests, 12 weapons, 3 kilos of fentanyl. One cartel cell, gone. But that was just the appetizer, because what they found next changed everything. In a warehouse outside McAllen, agents discovered something they weren't supposed to find. Not in Texas, not in America. A ledger, handwritten in Spanish, with names, dates, routes, and one word circled in red ink: cobalto. Cobalt, not the metal, not the mineral, the code name. Cobalto was a ghost, a phantom, a name whispered in encrypted messages and burner phone calls. No photo, no fingerprint, just rumors. Some said he was ex-military, others said he was a former CIA asset gone rogue. But everyone agreed on one thing: Cobalto didn't make mistakes. And yet, here was his ledger. The FBI went quiet. ICE went colder. Homeland Security started pulling satellite data, and suddenly, the raid wasn't just about drugs. It was about something else, something darker, because buried in that ledger was a reference to a shipment. Not of meth, not of fentanyl, but of something labeled VX-22, a nerve agent, military grade, illegal in every country on Earth, and it was scheduled to arrive in Galveston in 6 days. The clock started ticking. Agents were pulled from other cases. Surveillance drones were launched. Phone lines were tapped. And somewhere in a bunker beneath Washington, a man in a suit whispered, "This just became a national security threat." But the cartel didn't flinch. They moved like ghosts. No texts, no calls, just burner phones and dead drops. And every time the FBI got close, the trail went cold, until a mole surfaced. He was 19, skinny, nervous, arrested during the Hays County raid, said his name was Luis, said he wanted protection, said he knew things. At first, they didn't believe him. He was just a kid, a runner, a pawn, but then he described Cobalto's face, and the room went silent. Luis said Cobalto wasn't just a boss, he was a myth. He didn't speak, he didn't yell, he just stared, and when he stared, people obeyed. Luis said he saw him once, at a warehouse in El Paso. said he watched him load a crate marked VX22 into a truck with diplomatic plates. That was enough. The FBI launched a sting. ICE coordinated with Mexican intelligence, and on November 3, 2025, Operation Iron Vortex went live. 27 locations, simultaneous raids, helicopters, armored vehicles, tactical units, the kind of operation that makes the news before it even ends. But Cobalto wasn't there. He vanished. The crates were seized, the chemicals destroyed, the ledger secured, but the ghost slipped through. And now, the question wasn't, how did the cartel operate? It was, where is Cobalto? Because if he was willing to move nerve agents, what else was he planning? They thought it was over. The raids were done. The warehouses emptied. The chemicals seized. The headlines screamed victory. FBI dismantles cartel network in Texas. ICE seizes record fentanyl shipment. Operation Iron Vortex, a success. But beneath the surface, something was wrong. The agents felt it first. That itch behind the eyes. That sense that the room was too quiet. That the enemy had gone dark too fast. Because cartels don't vanish. They retaliate, they regroup, they adapt. But this time, they didn't do any of that. They just disappeared. No chatter, no retaliation, no bodies dumped in retaliation, just silence. And silence, in this world, is never peace. It's camouflage. The FBI started digging. Not in warehouses, not in stash houses, but in servers, in routers, in encrypted networks that pulsed like veins beneath the digital skin of Texas. They found fragments, IP addresses bouncing through Venezuela, Honduras, and, oddly, Luxembourg. They found messages, not in Spanish, not in English, but in code, strings of numbers, coordinates, timestamps, and one recurring phrase, VX22 confirmed. That was the nerve agent, the one Luas had mentioned, the one Cobalto had touched. And suddenly, the FBI realized they weren't chasing a drug ring. They were chasing a logistics network, one that moved chemicals, weapons, and possibly biological agents. This wasn't cartel work. This was paramilitary. They brought in cyber units, NSA analysts, linguists, cryptographers. And slowly, the fragments began to form a picture, a map, not of cities, but of servers. Each one a node, each node a handler, and at the center, a black hole. No IP, no trace, just a name, Cobalto, the ghost. Luis was moved to a safe house, given a new name, but he kept talking. Said Cobalto didn't just run drugs, he ran silence. Said he had a team, ex-military, ex-cops, ex-cartel. Said they operated like a black budget unit. No uniforms, no insignias, just burner phones and encrypted drives. Luis said they had a base, somewhere in West Texas, near the border. Said it looked like a ranch, said it had a basement. Said he saw crates marked VX22 and D17. No one knew what D17 was, but the NSA did. It was a code used in a classified Pentagon memo. One that referred to a synthetic compound designed for crowd control, non-lethal, but paralyzing. Originally developed for riot suppression. Never deployed, never exported, until now. The FBI went cold. Because if Cobalto had VX22 and D17, he wasn't just building a drug empire, he was building a weapon. And the target? Still unknown. They launched a second phase, Operation Iron Vortex 2. This time, no press, no headlines, just silence. Agents were embedded in trucking companies. ICE officers posed as warehouse managers. Drones flew over ranches. Satellites tracked heat signatures. And slowly, the map began to pulse again. One ranch lit up. Outside Marfa, Texas. Population, 1,800. Known for art installations and UFO sightings. But beneath the desert, something else. A heat signature. Constant unnatural, like a server farm or a lab. They sent a recon team, 3 agents, 1 drone, no backup. The drone went dark. The agents didn't. They came back with photos, a ranch house, a barn, a windmill, and beneath the barn, a hatch, metal, reinforced, locked. They requested a warrant. It was denied, too little evidence, too much risk. So they waited, until a truck arrived, unmarked, diplomatic plates, Venezuelan flag, and suddenly the warrant was approved. The raid was set for 4 a.m., but at 3:12 a.m., the ranch exploded. No survivors, no trace, just ash, and in the ash, fragments of servers, of crates, of something that looked like a centrifuge. The FBI went silent, because this wasn't just a cartel raid gone wrong. This was a message from Cobalto. I see you. And now the game had changed. No more raids, no more seizures. This was war, a shadow war, and the battlefield was everywhere. Victory is a dangerous illusion. After the ranch explosion outside Marfa, the FBI thought they'd won. The crates were gone, the lab destroyed, the ghost, Cobalto, vanished. But something didn't sit right. The silence wasn't relief, it was recoil, like the moment before a second shot. And then, the second shot came. It started with a leak. A memo, classified, internal, surfaced on a cartel forum. Not a public one. A deep web enclave, invite-only, encrypted. The kind of place where hitmen trade routes and chemists sell formulas. The memo was real, dated, stamped, signed. It detailed Operation Iron Vortex, names, locations, timelines. Someone inside had flipped. The FBI launched an internal probe. Quiet, surgical. They found nothing. No emails, no texts, no fingerprints. Just a pattern. Every time a raid was planned, the target moved. Every time a wiretap was set, the phones went dark. Every time a mole talked, someone died. It wasn't coincidence, it was infiltration. The cartel wasn't just watching, they were inside. One ICE agent, Rodriguez, was flagged. His bank account showed deposits from a shell company in Panama. His phone pinged near cartel safe houses. His wife's cousin, a known trafficker. Rodriguez was arrested. But he wasn't alone. 3 more agents, 2 local cops, 1 federal analyst, all compromised. And suddenly, the FBI realized something terrifying. They weren't chasing criminals. They were chasing a system that had learned to mimic law enforcement, to wear its skin, to speak its language, to pass its background checks. A system that didn't just evade justice, it impersonated it. And at the center of that system was Cobalto. Luis, the mole, was moved again, new name, new city. But he kept talking, said Cobalto had a plan, not for drugs, not for weapons, but for minds. Psychological warfare. Luis said Cobalto studied propaganda, said he hired ex-journalists to write fake news, said he paid influencers to spread fear, said he used TikTok to push cartel glamour, guns, money, power, said he created fake accounts to flood comment sections with doubt. Don't trust the FBI. ICE is corrupt. Cobalto protects his people, and it worked. In Laredo, a protest erupted. Not against the cartel, against the raids. Locals said the FBI was targeting immigrants, said ICE was planting evidence, said the cartel was just feeding families. The narrative had flipped, and the FBI was losing control. They brought in behavioral analysts, psychologists, experts in manipulation, and what they found was chilling. Cobalto wasn't just running a cartel, he was running a belief system, one built on fear, loyalty, and disinformation, one that made people doubt reality, doubt facts, doubt themselves, and once you doubt yourself, you're vulnerable. The FBI changed tactics. No more press releases, no more public raids. They went dark, started using AI to track sentiment, started planting counter-narratives, started mapping influence networks, and in one of those networks, they found him. Not Cobalto, but his voice, a podcast, anonymous, Spanish, weekly, called La Sombra, The Shadow. It preached resistance, loyalty, silence. It quoted Sun Tzu. It mocked the FBI. It praised the cartel. And in one episode, it slipped. A reference to a childhood in El Paso, a school, a teacher, a date. The FBI cross-referenced it, found a match. Miguel Angel Cortez, born 1979, El Paso, Army Ranger, discharged 2006, vanished 2007. No social, no bank, no phone, but one passport, stamped Venezuela. They had him, Cobalto, but they couldn't touch him. No jurisdiction, no extradition, no proof, just a voice and a system. So they did the only thing they could. They dismantled the network, server by server, account by account. They flooded the forums with noise. They hacked the podcast. They planted fake memos. They turned the system against itself. And slowly, the silence returned. Not the eerie kind, the real kind. The kind that means something ended. Luis was given asylum. The agents were purged. The raids stopped. The crates were gone. But Cabalto, still out there, still watching, still whispering. And the FBI know he'll be back. Because the system wasn't the cartel. The system was the target. And the war, it never ended.